Hello everyone, welcome back to the journey to National Master. In this episode, I'll show you the final round of Open Merkist Pombal. In this round, I got paired up against a recurring opponent in this series, Martim Fernandes. If you've been watching for a while, you already saw this name. I've indeed played him 3 times. This was the third time, and all the time we played against each other, I had the white pieces and he had the black pieces. And in the 3 games we played, a Sicilian. That's right. So I had white pieces. I opened with e4. My opponent goes for his trademark Sicilian with e6. And in the first game that we played, I played the Alapin. In the second one, I tried to play some open Sicilian mainlines. And in this game, I decided to play d3. So going for a more passive style with King's Indian attack, you know, ideas. And yeah, in our first 2 games, we drew, by the way. So yeah. Here, my opponent played d6, and I was already like thrown off by this move. I genuinely never played against d6 in this position. The most natural and most common move is just to play d5, striking in the center, just like it was like a French, just gaining space. But yeah, d6 I never seen. I didn't even study like in the studies that I had about the King's Indian attack, I never saw this sideline with d6, which is totally fine for black. But yeah, I was already thrown off because the normal plans just don't work out here as well. But okay, I thought for quite some time here already, and I just decided, okay, let's just keep playing our little system. So okay, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castles, castles. So pretty standard so far. The only real different thing is the pawn being on e6 instead of d5. Here I played knight bd2. I guess that the plans that I should follow here are okay. I'm not really playing 45 at the moment, but maybe I can just play rook e1, c3, d4. But I'm not quite sure if I should first develop the knight and the bishop and then go for c3 d4, or if I should just go immediately for c3 d4. Yeah, I actually need to look at this better because I haven't done my research even after the game yet. But okay, here I play knight b2, queen c7 by my opponent, rook e1, b6. So yeah, I had no idea what he was doing, honestly. I have to be honest. Like, I don't know what kind of setup my opponent is doing. Normally, even in these variations, black tries to play and get counterplay on the queen side, where they have more space normally, and white tries to get an attack on the king side. But yeah, my opponent was playing like b6, and this yeah, I had no idea what was going on, honestly. It really threw me off. I played knight c4. Um, yeah, I don't know if my opponent was just going for a simple bishop e7 or if he had ideas of bishop a6. But yeah, I played knight c4. I had an idea here, as you guys will see. My opponent played bishop b7, and here, like, I thought for quite a while just to make sure that what I was going for worked. And I ended up playing a move that I kind of regret. I regretted after doing it, which was knight takes on d6, and this feels like whoa. It feels like it came out of nowhere, and it kind of did. Yeah, my idea was to take this d6 pawn, and yeah, after bishop takes d6, my idea was just to simply play e5, and I thought, okay, I won a pawn because I took a pawn um with my knight, and now I'm forking these 2 pieces. I have 2 defenders, yes, 2 attackers here, but yeah, just I completely missed that my opponent can just take on e5 first, And now after knight takes, my opponent is in time to just trade light square bishops, and a we get this position where, yeah, I don't think I gained anything with those trades, literally. If anything, I think my opponent won more than me, because at least he got the semi-open d file for his rooks. And uh yeah, this was a really bad idea by me to just take on d6. I should have followed up with something more calm. I don't know, maybe a4 to stabilize the knight here, not let it get kicked by b5. Maybe develop this bishop, maybe play h3. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what is the correct follow-up. Maybe I can still play c3, d4, but I have to be honest, I don't really know where my pieces belong in this position right here. Yeah, feels very weird to me already. But yeah, okay, I ended up playing this simplification, which I totally just miscalculated. Uh, this was really not what I was going for. I thought that I won a pawn, but not at all. And yeah, here I just traded even more pieces. And here, yeah, my opponent, I think, played the right move here, which is knight d5. I think trading the queens would be uh, easier for me to play here with already a very active king. Although, yeah, the fact that my opponent is pretty solid here is not good for me. But yeah, my opponent played knight d5, which I feel like it puts more pressure in my position here. I played a3, stopping any knight b4s, and my opponent played c4 here, which I think it's a very good move, practically speaking, already opening up the the c file here. And yeah, this pawn on c2 can become weak, and in general I feel like I'm still behind in development. This bishop doesn't really have a good square to go to, because yeah, this knight is just really well placed on d5. And yeah, after c4 there's no real way for me to kick this knight from d5. So I think my opponent played really well here. I took on c4, my opponent took with the queen, and now I played c3, which it's an ugly move, but I felt like it was necessary to, you know, stop him from putting more pressure here on c2. And yeah, this creates this all on b3, which is very ugly. But at the moment, my opponent doesn't really have a way to explore it. This knight is not placed uh, to go to b3. You would have to do a very big journey, which I don't even see. Maybe like 97, knight c6, 95 to go to b3, but that's way too many tempos. And yeah, you just can't waste that much time. But okay, after c3, my opponent simply brought a rook to d8, and I played rook e4, which feels kind of weird, but I was thinking of maybe even doing a rook lift here to h4 or g4 and try to mate my opponent somehow. Have an attack with this bishop, queen, rook, all coming to attack on his king. But after queen b3, I did calculate quite some variations, but nothing seemed to be working. And yeah, if the attack doesn't work and I just go all in, I can easily lose. So yeah, I wasn't really in the mood to risk it all on the last round. So I just played rook e2, passive move. My opponent played a5, which, yeah, I don't really understand a5. The computer points out the simple rook d7 with the idea of doubling the rooks, which I feel like would be very, very good for my opponent, because he could have ideas of moving this knight away and infiltrating on the first rank, which would be very annoying because these pieces are still not playing. But my opponent wasted time with a5. I don't really understand a5. I respect my opponent for trading, simplifying, and trying to double rooks now. But the problem here is that I have time to just block the d file and not allow any type of infiltrations after rook d8 by my opponent. I can simply play rook a1 without any problems. But my opponent, after playing rook fd8, he offered the draw, and I accepted because, yeah, I don't think there's anything that either of us can do to improve the position. I think after rook ad1, which would be my move, I think it's very just equal. I guess the only try that I could see my opponent doing, but it's very risky, would be to, take the rook on d1 with the queen and play for this position with the two rooks against the queen. But after queen takes on b6, I prefer white, and the computer does too. I think this is way easier to play for white, and yeah, this pawn majority would be very hard to deal with, even with the two rooks. So yeah, we ended up drawing, and it was the third game in a row that we played and we drew. And yeah, it almost feels prearranged, but I swear we didn't prearrange anything. We just played, and yeah, we just got a pretty boring draw. But I guess it was my fault for taking on d6 and just allowing all those, um, all those simplifications. It was on my bad. Like, the game was boring because I didn't really play well with the white pieces. But yeah, it is what it is. Overall, it was a decent tournament. Not too good, not too bad. But yeah, the next one will be probably the best tournament of my life that I played so far. So stay tuned to that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.